Hi everyone, it's Liz here from Gather No Moss, and today I want to go through Colin's recent hip replacement operation. The reason that we want to cover this is, number one, it was in Spain, so that will help people who are having a hip operation in Spain. But also, when Colin knew he was having his hip operation, we decided to have a little look round on YouTube and see what advice we could get, what people were saying. And what we found is that there's a lot of good advice from professionals, surgeons, people who do the operations. Or there was advice from people who'd had hip operations maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, but there was nothing really up to date. So we decided that we would keep a record of how it all went. There's some funny bits in here as well, because we did try and keep things a little bit light-hearted to keep our spirits up. But it's an important major operation, and it has an effect both on the person that's having the operation and the person that's looking after that person. So I'm hoping that some of the advice that we're going to be giving you throughout this, and to see Colin's progress and how well he did actually do from the operation. We're a month on now, just to give you some encouragement and also useful information that you might be able to use. So you might have seen our first attempt at the hip operation, which was a failed attempt. The operation got cancelled, but I'll stick the little thumbnail at the top here so you can see how we'd set off and how we had hoped to be going. But we actually did do the operation, and Colin had the operation at the beginning of December. So it's a month on from there now, and I just hope that some of the advice we've got for you and some of the handy hints may be useful. So let us know, and any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. So we're here this morning, and it's Colin's day of his operation. So I just thought I'd give you a bit of a feeling for how he's feeling coming up to his operation. We've got a beautiful day. I'll show you a little bit of the sky. However, we have got range due later on. Anyway, how are you feeling, Colin?
I'm feeling fine. Quite relaxed about it, really, considering it's a major operation. Is it a major operation? Anyway,
yeah, it is a major operation.
I'm having a hip replaced.
Hip replacement is major, yeah, I would think.
Yeah. Been due really for a few years, to be honest. But hey, eventually got round to getting it sorted.
Tell everyone about your packing process and how much thought you put into all of that going into hospital.
Well, as much thought as it needs. 5 minutes. What do you put in?
He literally packed his rucksack this morning.
Pair of pyjamas, undies, t-shirts, toothbrush.
I said, do you want any shampoo or soap? So I actually had to put a little plastic bag together with a few toiletries like that. In the hospitals in Spain, they don't give you quite as much stuff as they would do in the UK hospitals, do they?
I'm taking more stuff than I take on a regular Ryanair flight.
It is.
That's
my
not
bag.
much.
It's my bag actually that I use for Ryanair when we're flying. I've also done a little bag of goodies in case he's feeling hungry, because those people that know Colin know he likes to eat on a regular basis. So now at the moment you're fasting, aren't you?
Yeah, pre-operation fasting. Obviously, as anybody who's had an operation will know, you've got to have an 8-hour window, and as I still don't actually know what time I'll be going under the knife, so to speak, I've not had anything this morning. It's not so much the food I'm missing, it's my morning strong coffee, which is fantastic out here. Desperate for a coffee.
But unlike when I was having an operation last year, he was eating everything in front of me and making himself really delicious looking sandwiches and things. I've been a good girl and I've fasted with him so as not to let him smell or see any of my food. But he didn't give me that consideration. Oh, hello. Are we boring you?
Still waking up.
So this is us on the way. As you can see, he's very relaxed. I'm probably a little bit more nervous than him. So Colin, how are you feeling?
Oh, marvellous, yeah. It's
Make
so
sure
good to have your family around you so you don't get nervous. Nice room.
What a nice bathroom you've got there. Right, well I'll shut the door on you. So you're back. How did it go?
Well, as I was asleep for most of it, I can't tell you, but it shot past and a bit of a doddle, to be honest. It wasn't nothing to be concerned about.
So patience is the name of the game now, Colin.
Correct.
But unfortunately, the little empanadas that we've bought you from the special Argentinian empanada shop, you're not allowed them at the minute. You're only allowed a bit of water.
I don't know why.
You're starving, aren't you?
I'm absolutely starving. Yeah.
All
I'll
right.
sneak one when you go.
Right, we'll let you get some rest.
All right.
So day 4, and look at that. And he's just had probably the best meal. That's brilliant, well done.
Thanks.
He's been doing his exercises, he's been eating so much better today, so he deserves to watch the football. So we're on day 5. Colin's out and about, having a little walk, and doing absolutely brilliantly. He's been doing some exercises at home, which has really helped. But he's been really sensible about it as well. But he's definitely mastering walking and spreading the weight between the 2 legs. How's it feeling?
It's like I can feel the slight uphill.
Oh right, yes.
It's good. It's just a bit sore still. It's getting stronger each day, but you've got to push it till it's a bit sore and take a rest. And you're just getting stronger and stronger, yeah. But do
Brilliant.
not stop doing something every day.
Well done. So day 6, it's a bit chilly outside for us today, and Gus does not seem to realise that Colin has had a hip replacement, because this is where he likes sitting first thing in the morning after his breakfast with some strokes. How is your leg coping, Colin, with the weight of Gus?
He's all right. It's a bit sore, but it's a bit sore all the time anyway, like so. But he's okay.
He's a good boy, aren't you? And how are you doing now today, would you say?
Yeah, good. It's just, it's just getting stronger. The biggest problem is each morning it's all a bit stiff and sore. You just got to keep moving.
Oh, where?
All over. And,
but that's just your age, isn't it, Colin?
no, absolutely nothing to do with it. You've just got to keep moving it as much as you can. I've done some exercise this morning. I'll do some walking later. It'll get a bit achy and sore from that, but you've just got to keep doing it and it'll get stronger bit by bit. It'll be back to normal-ish.
We'll go for a little walk later. So
Yep.
That's us, day 6 of hip operation. And it's actually chilly in Spain. So this is Colin, day 10, walking with his stick now. So off you go, let's see how you're doing. He's been concentrating on trying to keep his leg moving and bending. That's amazing. Okay. Okay, and this is Colin without his stick, which we're so pleased with. Look at that. Oh, that's amazing. Day 10. He's not going to leap in the air at the moment, but that's amazing. Well done, you. Okay, Colin, we're at day 10 now, and we've just had a little look at how you're walking, both with a crutch and without a crutch, which is really quite impressive. So how are you feeling generally, just so you can let people know what to expect?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think I've made progress I'd hoped to make. That makes you feel good, that you're not sort of falling behind or anything. I was determined to do so. First tip, you really must get yourself determined enough to want to get better a little bit every day. So it starts up here before it starts with your leg. You really must have the right mindset to say, I'm really going to get better without being silly. Don't break any of those rules that your doctor have told you. Go at it.
And have you done a bit of walking each day?
Yes, every day from the first day out the hospital, little bits. You will find early on, certainly, that if you push yourself like that, you are going to get a little bit tired. Yeah, it's hard work for the rest of your body, and you will need to take rest, sitting down. I like my little siestas in the afternoon, and that's good. You know, sleep and rest is good.
Can we just clarify, your little siesta's 2 to 3 hours, isn't it, in the afternoon? That's what it's been.
It can seem like that.
So how about the wound? How's your wound looking now at the moment?
Yeah, it's not easy to see, of course, because it's around the sort of side of your leg and the top of your bum. It's very itchy, which is probably a good sign that it's healing. It's clean. We clean it every 3 days, 2 days, with a bit of a iodine solution, and obviously change the dressing. I'm showering every day. The first few days I was careful to avoid the dressing as much as I could. Yeah, showering, okay, cleaning. We're quite lucky. We've got a low step over shower, and it's sort of 3 walls around it, so there's plenty of surfaces that I can put my hand on to. I
think they're called walk-in showers.
Walk-in shower, okay. That's definitely a help, rather than the sort of glass screen over a bath type of shower which we have as well. That's been a help. There's plenty of support, but it hasn't been impossible for me to stay clean, and for us to Liz to help with cleaning the wound and changing the dressing.
What about things that might have been a little bit difficult that you have needed help for?
Okay, so you know, when you start to get independent, the first thing I want to do is make myself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and perhaps a bite to eat. Now, you can make it. I've gone to the kitchen on the crutch, got there and made my food and my cup of tea. It's not that far apart. The problem comes when you're trying to carry that in your spare hand if you're using one crutch. It's not easy. It doesn't feel stable for the first few days. You're going to need help with somebody fetching and carrying for you. I say first few days, might be the first couple of weeks, depending on your rate of progress. Yeah, it's so tempting, it was for me, to try and carry my cup of tea myself. I like to be independent. But that was a difficulty. So you think you're getting independent, you think you're getting better, but there are still going to be ways, and just be aware of it, that you're going to need help for people to fetch and carry for you.
So you made a nice pan of soup last night, but then I had to do all the pouring it out and carrying it and everything. So you could cook because you were stood up by the cooker.
Yes.
But it's just literally carrying it through to the table. so that it can be eaten. So that's where you will need help. Now, you didn't have a walker, did you, with a little tray on or anything? So some people will have a walker. If you are on your own, I think we would strongly recommend people have a walker to carry their food through. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. You're gonna need something. I mean, look, it's obviously better to have somebody with you to help you with these things. But if you don't have that, you're going to need that solid, stable surface for you to transport one thing from one place to another.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I think one of the things that hasn't been quite so straightforward has been sleeping, finding your comfortable position, and really for us as a couple, it's been good that we've had a separate bed for me to go in, haven't we? Because of your, dare I say it, snoring. How's it all gone?
Yeah, I mean, I found this the most difficult thing, to be honest, trying to get comfortable enough to fall to sleep in a bed. If, as I've said earlier, if you've been active and pushed yourself, your leg will ache when it comes to rest. So I've had to lie on my back and move my leg around, sort of raising my knee and sliding my heel up towards my bum a few times. I need a pillow underneath it. But there are times when I've woken up in the middle of the night and it's really properly aching and it's difficult to get back to sleep, even with the painkillers. Yeah, but hey, it's a small price to pay. I normally sleep on my side or my front, but with the way the leg is, I've been mostly sleeping on my back, and that leads to inevitably to a bit of snoring, so I'm told, and not as comfortable as it can be.
Can I just say at this point, it's not just a bit of snoring. Hence, I've been in a different bed so that I've been able to get some sleep as well. What about, we've had a couple of days out, haven't we?
Yeah, again, I know it may not be easy for you, but if you can, get out in the car, get somebody obviously driving for you, get some fresh air. Even if you don't get out the car, get your window down, get some fresh air. I know the weather this time of year might not be great, but still, please try and get out. It lifts your spirits if you see other things, just seeing other people walking around for a start.
So we thought it'd be useful to cover some handy hints of things that we encountered as we went through the operation, and things that had happened to us or did happen to us or we needed or we found useful, just so that it would help you prepare in the future as well. So first of all, one of the things that we did do is because we were in Spain, we were under ASA, which is our insurance company, and they were brilliant and looked after everything, but you don't get the same sort of facilities to things such as toilet seats, walking trolleys, crutches, things like that you would say as you would in the UK, and I know people do in the UK. So we knew that we had to prepare and get some stuff beforehand. And luckily for us, we have a local age concern and they hire out equipment. So we were able to go and hire out a toilet seat raiser. I'll put a picture up here so you can see what the equipment's like. And also a pair of crutches. And because Colin is 6'3", so he needs long crutches, we had to make sure they were the right size. Also you can hire out trolleys, the walking trolleys as well. Now, we didn't bother getting that because Colin felt he'd be quite confident on the crutches, but I do think if you're a lady, we haven't got the same upper body strength as the men do, and a little walking trolley might be very useful. I know my mum's ill at the moment and she's got a walking trolley and she finds that great, and particularly with a tray on, because she can then make herself a cup of tea and walk back into the lounge quite easily with the cup of tea safe on the trolley. So we didn't bother getting one of those, but I think, say for example, if I had to have the operation, I would find something like that very useful. Other recommendations and things that you just don't think about, to be very honest, are you need, when I was picking Colin up from the hospital, he has to get into the car. Now, most cars, the seats are lower down. Now, when you come out after your hip operation, they have what they call the right angle rule, and you shouldn't be moving your hip and your leg higher than a right angle. So if you start trying to lift your leg up, that's when it starts hurting, and sometimes the hip joint can slip out. So I brought a great big cushion to put on the passenger seat in the car so that he was able to get in the car and sit comfortably and lay his leg out in the sort of footwell of the car. So that's a real good top tip, I would say. Things like we had to use one of our garden chairs in the lounge because, again, our sofa's quite a low sofa. So if he'd sat on the sofa, his hip would have been further lower down and his knee would have been higher up, and he wouldn't have been able to sit comfortably. So again, we brought a garden chair in, put a big cushion on it, and he was able to sit in front of the TV in that chair. Not quite as comfortably, but it did the job for about a week, 10 days, whilst his bones were settling down and he was getting through the pain. Things like, as well, make sure you move. Because we live in Spain, we've got the tiled floors everywhere with carpets on. Move carpets where they're going to be walking, because they're such a hazard. So I had little carpets all around, with it, particularly with it being winter time at the moment. We have carpets just to try and keep it a bit warmer, but I had to move any that were in Colin's way for when he was using the crutches. So it's just preparing things like that really does help. A few other things as well. We have quite a high bed, so that was quite useful. I'll put a picture of Colin sat in bed. He was quite happy sitting in bed. But because he was in pain and he had to lie certain ways, what we found really worked is for me to stay in a spare bed. So I think we had thought it would be okay, but it was quite unrealistic, really. And it's very important that the person looking after, the carer that's looking after the person that's had the operation, gets some good sleep. Well, for me and my mood, it definitely is important. So I would say anticipate that probably for the first, it was maybe 2 weeks, I slept in a separate bed so that I could get a good night's sleep as well, because Colin was restless moving around. We got a cushion, and we got this cushion off Amazon. They are readily available, but they're a bit like the pregnancy cushions that people buy. So it's a right angle cushion. I'll put a link in our description about them. But that they work brilliantly, because you can put one under your leg and it props your leg up a little bit and helps you when you're sleeping. You can sort of snuggle into it. So I would strongly recommend those as well. Another thing that worked great for us here is that on our downstairs we do have a walk-in shower. So Colin was able to get into the shower and then I could shower him down. And that was a lot easier than having to step over into the bath area. You want to keep your wound dry and you want to keep the bandaging dry to start with. And so it worked much better so that I could shower him down and he could soap himself down, but he still had the sides of the shower area so that he could hold on to those and give himself some support. So definitely, if you have got the accessibility to a walk-in shower, that will work really, really well. Initially, when it's still, you're trying to keep everything dry and it's still quite sore. So one of the other side effects that Colin found, particularly within the first week, I would say, is that he was feeling quite sicky at times. So he had to drink lots and lots of water. We did have some other soft drinks in as well, but we really stocked up with nice water for him, nice fresh water. And I was constantly bringing glasses of water for him. He wasn't drinking quite as much coffee and tea as he would normally. He just wanted water all the time, and he was drinking a lot. So I think that's a post-op thing, but just something to be aware of. And if you've got that sicky feeling, well, that's normal as well. So don't worry too much about that. He also found it easier using iPad and headphones and phone rather than watching a lot of TV. He didn't seem to be as interested in watching the TV. So keep those things near so there's some entertainment. Again, because of coming out of the hospital, he wasn't reading quite as much as we thought he would. He did do some reading, but not as much as he would normally do. So yeah, just a little bit of, so he could listen to music or podcasts. He downloaded quite a lot of podcasts. So another top tip really is to be doing that. I found as well, one of the top tips as somebody that was caring for someone that's just had an operation is have a friends and family update list or a WhatsApp group, because everybody wants to know how they're doing, and that is quite a time consuming thing, typing up and messaging everyone. So again, if you have an update list of your friends and family, then you can keep posting out and keeping everyone in touch with how they're doing. So that would be a strong recommendation from me. Now, in Spain in particular, they do have different opening and closing hours for the pharmacies. And one thing that we nearly got caught on was when Colin was discharged, that day it was a bank holiday for all of the meds. And you have to go and buy your meds at the pharmacy. So luckily, we'd got enough paracetamol and stuff to tide us over for that first day, but we could have slipped up badly there. So if you are having an operation in somewhere that's where they don't have the pharmacies open quite as much as they would, say, in the UK, just make a note of your opening times for your pharmacies. I found the routine of providing the meds. I had to inject anticoagulant as well into Colin every day, particularly as we were due to be going back to the UK 2 weeks after his operation. So he gets a bit squeamish with injections, so I was doing that. But get yourself in a good routine, and I had them all laid out, and I knew what he was having and when he was having them. So I kept an eye on that so that the patient doesn't really have to monitor their own meds. If there's somebody caring for them, they can take that responsibility, and I did that, and I think that really helped him not having to think about that. And I just used to say, we need to do this now, or we need to do that now. So the med side of it, you need to be organised for that. And also in Spain, they don't give you loads and loads of bandages. So make sure you've got bandages, and particularly the larger size for the hip operation scar. So again, we had to go and buy quite a lot of those, just so that when we changed his bandages, which was turning into every other day, I would say, and then probably after about a week, it starts to calm down a bit. But we kept his scar and his wound covered up until he had had some of the staples out. So we, just to give him extra padding there. So make sure you've got plenty of the big size bandages for that. Again, there'll be some pictures there to show you those different sizes of bandages that you need. He didn't have his stitches out until 2 weeks after his operation, and he only had half the stitches out then, or the staples, and then he had the other staples out about 4 days after that. So sometimes they don't take them all out at once, they just allow the wound to close a little bit more, and then they'll take the rest out. So again, just as a little bit of advice on that. I think one of the big things that I would really, really stress throughout all of the time of the operation, for the patient, for the carer, is really stress. It's very, very important to go easy on yourselves. Don't try and rush up and start doing things. I have to admit that I do like a nice clean house, and I do like everything in its place. But actually, it was really important to go easy on myself. It's quite stressful caring for somebody and looking after them, with the worry of them just having had that operation and making sure they're fine. So just go easy on yourself. If they're having a sleep, have a little sleep yourself. Make sure that you're doing what I call the 3 rules, which is sleeping properly, eating properly, and doing some exercise, whether you're the patient or the carer. So we really stuck to our meal times, made sure we slept whenever we felt like sleeping. So when Colin was sleeping, I would try and get a little doze in as well. And also Colin was very determined to do the exercises they'd asked him to do, and do a little bit of walking each day. Obviously, initially as the carer, you go along with them and you walk with them because you don't want them hurting themselves. So I was walking along with him. The biggest thing for me with Colin was that he wanted to do more than he should have been doing. So I had to keep saying to him, no, you need to stop and rest now. And no, you need your crutches. So he was very determined, but a little bit over enthusiastic. So that's a list of all of the helpful things that I would have liked somebody to tell us. And I hope that is useful if you're going in for a hip operation, or if you're going to be looking after somebody that's had a hip replacement. Those are the up-to-date things that I think are important for the aftercare for the first month. Go. So this is 12 days. Day 12. And look at that. Look what he's got as a bit of a celebration. Yeah, let's have a look. Cheers. Well done.
Cheers.
Good hard work there. Well
It's
done.
the Spanish Health Service.
I think the Spanish sun is also helping you, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we won't make everyone jealous, but just a little glance.
Thank you.
What's the date today? Can you remember?
16th.
16th of December. Yep, all things looking good. Brilliant. So we're 1 calendar month from Colin having his operation. This is the final video to show you where we're at 1 month on. How is it feeling?
Yeah, loads better. Strength's returning to the muscles in my leg. I can feel that, even see it actually to a certain extent. It's only 4 weeks, month, as Liz says. Still soreness. There's going to be to major operation.
Good. All right then. Well, should we just have a little film of you walking?
Okay.
All right then. Let's see how you do.
Trousers up.
So he's been a little bit naughty. He's not been using his single crutch as much as he was supposed to, but as you can see, absolutely amazing.